If my people, Bible reading part 121. This is the book of Nahum, written about 650 BC. Not much is known about him, but Nahum means comforter. And so there's some comfort going on in this short book. And there's some incredible judgment going against those who he doesn't comfort. And so it's like pick and choose. Which one do you want to be? Yahweh's done this and will do this forever. Everything is choice. I think, this is my opinion, that Lucifer, to be named Lucifer, the bearer of light, the bearer of truth, to name him that is one of the highest honors you can give a creation. And Lucifer is a creation. He is not the son of Yeshua, Mr. Mormon. Okay? How many preachers wouldn't dare say anything against the Mormons because they got lots of money? And by the way, the Mormon faith, their families, they follow the Torah better than most all Christians do. They really are into the Torah. Bad news is, I know as a retired criminal justice, I know lots of young men, mostly men, told by their family who they're going to marry, where they're going to study, who they're going to live with, what school they're going to attend to, what they're going to do for a business, which is prominent in Mormonism. You can't deny it, folks, and you can ask them. They can't deny me. So I can't get in trouble for lying here because I've read your books. I've lived with the Mormons, many of them. I know exactly what they're saying. My brother lived amongst them in Utah for most of his life. So what am I saying is true. So what did I tell my brother? You would not believe how many young men commit suicide because they don't want to live like that. Maybe their mom and dad did. Maybe their grandpa and great-grandpa and great-great-great-great-great-grandpa. But they don't want to live like that, so they took their lives. Are you happy now? Wow. I don't judge the young man who took his life. I just don't judge him. That's something, if we're all told, that's like communist China about what you're going to do. But, they look good and they dress good and they have lots and lots of money and they save a lot of stuff back and they follow Torah better than most Christians do. That's true. There's the positive point on that. This is what Nahum, we don't know much about him, but just what he wrote is powerful. So this is another person who writes oracles. So he was given, it's in the morning. Sorry, it's not 8:45 at night. It's in the morning. He was given this information. Oracles don't just pull it out of the air or from the internet. They got it from Yahweh. And this is what happens. Chapter 1, verse 1, an oracle concerning Nineveh. Now, Nineveh is a prosperous city, big and large, in control of a lot of things in the surrounding area. Much like any large city or capital in the United States and other countries, Paris, London, any South American country where you have large cities and the rest of the country depends on that large city to keep them going. That's Nineveh. Don't just concentrate on the word Nineveh here. The book of the vision of Nahum the Elkoshite. Once again, Nahum meaning comforter. Verse 2, Yahweh is jealous and avenging Elohim. Yahweh takes vengeance and is filled with wrath. Yahweh takes vengeance on his foes and maintains his wrath against his enemies. Comment. Again, this is a book for the future, the time after the tribulation of the Antichrist, the time when Yahweh's wrath comes. Mainline prosperity preachers never let this word get into their followers. Yahweh never alters in his way. Yahweh always disciplines his own before his wrath is brought down upon the heathens, the non-believers. Commentators have spent many years with ministerial alliances We have. And those monthly sit-down afternoon lunch sessions, you can really get honest, open answers to difficult questions. In numerous conversations, so many pastors have stated openly they do not bring these difficult books into the congregations and deal with the truth in those books and prophetic teachings. And the reason they don't also to help out is they come up with tradition, the soup for the day. This month is brought to you by Mother's Day and Father's Day and Labor Day and Memorial Day and July the 4th and holidays and Halloween and Hallows Eve and St. Patrick's Day and Bunny Rabbit's Day and name any other day. And they preach that from the pulpit year after year after year. And mom gets a rose and dad gets a golf club. I'm kidding on that. All right. I started laughing. I'm sorry. Comedians should never laugh at their own jokes. If you knew my family, you would understand why I'm at golf club. Oh, a few major reasons, according to them, these pastors and ministers, is that they believe that their members are they're too stupid. The people that go to the church are just dumber than sheep. And once again, it's all about the business. They're too stupid to understand the Bible to begin with. The need to be spoon-fed. By the way, the Bible was written initially just for the masses, not for preachers. They want to keep their believers on milk because it's the best way to keep their jobs. Said that over and over again. There's another, Nahum's a perfect example here. Verse 3, Yahweh is slow to anger and he's great in power. Yahweh will not leave the guilty unpunished. His way is in the whirlwind and the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. You can be comforted, you can be comforted by Nahum as he dishes out the judgment of Yahweh because we know that Yahweh is true to his word. In that alone we have comfort. No surprises from his believers. We are not to be surprised in these days. The evil are surprised because nothing has happened. Why? Yahweh has not been seen for thousands of years. He sleeps. No, he doesn't. He's never slept. When he rested, he didn't take a nap. He didn't lay on the lounger. What do we mean by rested? And he rested on the seventh day. Creation stopped. No new animals have appeared on this earth since he stopped in the sixth day. Nothing new. Now, altered animals, DNA defects, that's not from Yahweh. Giants on the land, that's not from Yahweh. Extremely small people, that's not from Yahweh. That's where you get the folklore and the midgets, and that's where you get leprechauns and gnomes, and that's why you get gigantic monsters from Nephilim. Now, that's not a creation. Lucifer, Hasatan, does not create anything. Man cannot create anything from nothing. They can only alter. So what happened in Genesis 1:1 with everything I just mentioned? Yes, it's true. What the Greeks brought up, they made stories out of it and they stretched it here and there. But were they talking about something that's absolutely true? Yes. How people in those days have their math skills were far superior and their physics skill far superior. Their environmental knowledge far superior than anything, including all the computers and the AI that exist on this earth today. Where did it come from? Did it come from Yahweh? No, it did not. It came from the alteration man. All right. Verse 4, he rebukes the sea and he dries it up. He makes all the rivers run dry. Bashan and Carmel wither and the blossoms of Lebanon fade. Comment, however, if many believers, we call them sheep, still cling to that pre-rapture theory, then they're going to be in a rude awakening because you see, and I just heard on the radio yesterday, as I mentioned, it was from Jan Martell. Jan Martell of all people, that we don't have to worry about everything that's about to come because we're going to be raptured away. Is they don't have to go through the great trials. They don't have to go through the tribulations. They don't have to go through the wrath of Satan. By the way, it's tribulations of Satan. The wrath is of Yahweh. And the Christians, that's why there's weeping and sadness and mourning. The Christians may be brought forth into the millennium, but they're going to be weeping because they knew they should have been doing much more than just name it and claim it ministry. Name it and claim it life. La-di-da-di-da kind of attitude. And they're going to be sitting right beside the people who are going to be gnashing their teeth because of hate. Those people will have an opportunity millennium to come to Jesus. Are they? Most again, no. But everyone will have a choice. And even the shock of witnessing the wrath of Yahweh. However, comfort may well come in the way of the shepherds. Who's that? That's you. Still here when the end days are present to lead, to guide, to ensure sheep, to follow the royal Torah, the feasts and festivals, not Christmas bunnies and all the other nonsense, to read the entire word, especially the Torah and the new covenant. So you preachers out there who have ignored my letters, ignored my emails, and thrown me out of your churches because I pointed out, and I even pointed out in the scripture, gave them Bibles, all free, given them $100 Bibles for nothing. And yet not one ever said, thank you. Or that's a good idea, I'm going to change my preaching. Not one. Not one. Wow. So, usually what happens in a nation like the United States, and I'll use that as an example, is they went from bondage, so they got out and came to the United States and formed, because of spiritual faith, folks, not the nation we live in has no belief in Yeshua, no belief in God, no belief in anything except themselves and science. They went from bondage to spiritual faith. From spiritual faith, they went to courage. From courage, they went to liberty, and they formed a country. And then from liberty, they went to abundance, and we've been doing that for about 200 and some odd years. From abundance to selfishness. Now we're at 2% of the nation has access to 98% of the wealth. From selfishness to complacency. We're rapidly going there now. From complacency to apathy. And from apathy back to bondage. It's a big circle, folks. It's not a linear Greek line. It's not like this. It's like this. There you go. That's real thinking, not Hellenism, Greek thinking. All right. Verse 19 in chapter 3. Nothing can heal your wound. Your injury is fatal. Well, there it is. Everyone who hears the news about you claps his hands at your fall. For who has not felt your endless cruelty? The time of Nineveh, the time of these rich, selfish people, was true to the writings of Nahum. However, we can see this in most modern days, most modern cities, most modern governments. We can learn much from this small book because Hasatan can never create anything. He can only alter. Consider the circle of life I just told you. This is very important. The book of Nahum is a quick read. And Marty, you can read this just before you go to bed. A lot of people are asking, who's Marty? Ask me an email. Mary Jo's going, oh. What nation do you live in? Well, I live in the Netherlands. I'm not the United States. Oh boy. Of all countries, small countries, of all areas of the world that have serious morality problems. Name a country, folks, that isn't in trouble right now. Lean on the Lord with all your faith, with all your understanding, with all your trust, and grace and mercy through his Son, Yeshua. All right. We'll see you at the next reading.